my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Kelsey, aka Mother Vegan. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it or found it useful, which I'm hoping today it is useful to as many people as possible out there. It's a difficult one. I'm already starting. It is a difficult video for me to film, but I'm hoping it helps as many people as possible, especially at this time of year. We need to talk about it more than ever, and especially with this year that's already been, 2020 has not been the easiest or the best year. So this is about postnatal depression, more specifically postnatal depression at Christmas time, or even depression in general. I guess we don't have to do it specifically for postnatal depression. So a bit of a backstory to me. I have suffered on and off with depression ever since I was a very, very young girl. At the time, I didn't realise it. Like most people, I think, don't realise it when they've got depression. I didn't actually admit it until I was my early 20s, which is when I was at university, and I actually started to realise when I started to learn more about psychology what was going on in my head now. So it didn't help that I did drink a lot in uni. I'll admit that I did. I drank at least twice a week during uni. I went out all the time. I thought I was enjoying myself, but looking back now, I was actually just making the situation a whole lot worse for myself. So once I finally started to admit that I had depression that needs sorted out, I of course went down the route of counselling. Didn't like it, didn't work for me. For me personally, it didn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't work, just it didn't work for me. Talking about it out loud made me feel worse at that time. They offered me antidepressants. I accepted. Didn't like them either. I stopped taking them after a couple of weeks. The side effects were just much worse for me. So I threw myself into exercise and I got really fit, got really healthy, mentally and physically. I was on a good path. And that is when I met Adam. So at the time I met Adam, I was on a high. Like, I was the happiest I think I'd ever been. Mainly to do with Adam. I will say that. I'll admit it, most of my happiness did come from Adam. I'd also just become world champion. I'd just finished my master's degree. Like, I was smashing life. In my eyes, I was smashing life. So I was really, really happy. We travelled a little bit at the beginning of the relationship. We both got a job with an airline and managed to travel a fair bit. Not as much as what we wanted, because then we fell pregnant with Hugh. And it was the happiest moment of my life. Falling pregnant with Hugh was the happiest moment of my life. Finding out that I was pregnant, seeing those 2 lines to say that I was pregnant was just incredible, and me and Adam were extremely excited. It was just the best feeling ever, knowing that we were going to become parents. Then started to go downhill. I really wanted to enjoy pregnancy. I had this whole image in my head of glowing and growing this person inside of me, this another human baby inside of me. It was just the most wonderful thing, and it just wasn't to me. I hated it, and I don't like admitting that, but I did not enjoy pregnancy. The first 12 weeks-ish, I was so sick. Like, I was sick all the time, and that was really difficult hiding it from everyone because I was really, really sick. Then finally, after I got over the sickness, I was like, yes, this is great. This is where I start enjoying the pregnancy. I then got sciatica, and I was just in agony forever and a day. Like, it was awful, the sciatica. I didn't have it that bad, but it was bad enough to stop me from exercising. And because I wasn't exercising, I was starting to feel really, well, my depression started to come back. Without me realising, again, my depression started to come back. And then because I was feeling so low and so down, I started eating more and emotional eating, and the weight just piled on. And with my background as a fitness instructor and somebody who has a master's in obesity and weight management, it was just a horrible feeling knowing that I'd put on so much weight. Lack of exercise, emotional eating, the weight piled on, my mood starting to get worse and worse and worse. The sciatica carried on until the end of the pregnancy, and I also got a mild form of SPD at the end of the pregnancy as well, which made me more bedbound. So I wasn't really leaving the house that much, and if I was only walking down the road. I wasn't going very far at all. I was just in far too much pain. And it doesn't help as well as that I've actually got lordosis in my back, so my back already arched, and when I was pregnant it arched. The carer chair was even more exaggerated. So that's what happened during pregnancy. As soon as he was born, I felt this whole sigh of relief. Oh my god, my baby is perfect. And oh god, he was born, my whole world just, he is and was and always will be my whole world. The labour was a long labour. It's 53 plus hours. It was a long labour, but I would do it 10 times over again for Hugh. And when he first latched on for breastfeeding, it was just the most wonderful feeling. There were the midwives stitching me up, and then I was breastfeeding. That was the only thing in the world that matters. So breastfeeding started off really successful. I was like, yes, I'm smashing this. I'm smashing mum life. I'm smashing being a mother. And that carried on for weeks. Like, I felt like I was doing such a good job. It was one of the few things that I felt really proud of and really confident with my ability. And then came the unwarranted advice that I hadn't asked for. They were trying to be helpful, I understand that, but I hadn't asked for their help. I thought I was doing the right things for Hugh, by Hugh, and doing everything what I should be doing. Looking back, I was, but people kept interfering. They weren't doing it horribly, they were trying to help, and I understand that, but when you're a new mum, only give advice to new mums when they ask for it, because if you give it to them when they're not asking for it, you're making them feel like they're doing everything wrong. That new mum is probably already doing everything that she can do, and dads actually, let's not discriminate, dads can get postnatal depression as well. So any new parent, do not give advice to new parents unless they ask for it. Unless that baby's in danger, just leave them be, leave them be, because they start questioning themselves, they start doubting themselves, and they just, that's where mine started. I'm not saying it was the reason for it, but it definitely had a huge impact on my mental health. With the amount of people, it was just everyone, or at least it felt like it was everyone. Maybe I was just really emotional and I was taking it more to heart, but it did really affect me. Now, I don't know the timescales of all this because I wasn't paying attention to what was happening. I was enjoying my time with my new baby and with Adam and being a new family. I just wasn't paying attention to my own mental health. I was more bothered about making sure Hugh and Adam were both healthy and happy, which I guess that's what all parents do and all mums do, especially. I guess that is what all parents and all mums do, but I was definitely doing that. I wasn't thinking about myself at all. I wasn't thinking about my health, my physical or mental health. It just wasn't at the top of my agenda. Hugh and Adam were and are still the top of my agenda. It was a few months, I don't know how many months, but it was a few months of people asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Do you need any help? Are you okay? And then it started to become, do you need help? Are you okay? Like, more serious. And I sat back and I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Why is everyone asking me all the time? And it took a little while, but then I realised that I'm actually not okay. These people know me better than I know myself, and they can see that I was struggling. I really wanted to not cry during this. I should have known it was going to happen though. So after a few months of people asking me if I was okay, I started to realise that I actually wasn't okay and I did need help. So this was nearing on the time that I was meant to be going back to work. Now, before I fell pregnant, I knew about postnatal depression. I had people close to me that had suffered with postnatal depression in the past, and I thought that it was just suicidal thoughts, feeling really low but feeling like you regretted your decision and having the baby. I didn't realise that my postnatal depression was different to that. My postnatal depression was, I loved Hugh that much. I felt like I wasn't good enough for him. I felt like I wasn't doing enough for him, and there was always something more I could be doing. And I researched into what I should be doing for Hugh and what he should be doing. I was always worried about his development, especially because of his sickness, because of his lack of weight gain. I wanted to make sure that he wasn't failing in other parts because of me. It didn't help. Hugh has never been a good sleeper. He's never been a bad sleeper, but he's never been a good sleeper. So I was very emotional from being very tired. Especially with breastfeeding as well. Breastfeeding, it just put all the pressure onto me because nobody else could feed him but me. It was me. So breastfeeding didn't help either. It didn't help my mental health because there was so much pressure on me to make sure that I'm looking after myself and looking after Hugh. And making sure that Hugh's feeding and making sure he's feeding enough. It's just, breastfeeding is difficult. I would do it over again, don't get me wrong, especially now because I've had the experience. I know what to do. But breastfeeding also didn't help my mental health. There was a lot of pressure to breastfeed, and in a way rightly so, because it is the best for the babies, but it's not the only way that a baby can be fed. If a baby is on formula, the baby is fine. The baby is getting fed, and that is all that matters, and we need to remember that. When I started to realise that I needed help, I went to the GP the beginning of March, and I was meant to be going back to work at the end of March. It was the last day in March I was due back to go to work. I hated the job. I despised the job. It gave me and Adam good opportunities, don't get me wrong. We were lucky to have the job because it was in the travel industry. We could travel more than what any other career would give us, and we loved travelling. But I hated the job. It was such a stressful job. Doctor agreed to sign me off until the end of April. And obviously by that time, lockdown had started and Adam was already working from home, so we couldn't have somebody else work from home, but the office was closed. So I was one of the fortunate ones that lockdown and furlough worked in my favour. I was very lucky. I managed to stay off for another few months. So I actually managed to stay off. I was due back at the end of August. So lockdown and furlough benefited me because I just had time with Hugh. Nobody else. Adam wasn't even barely here. It was just me and Hugh, and it was the best time I could have ever asked for. Honestly, those months that it was just alone time with Hugh, I will always remember. Why? In a way, I actually missed lockdown back then because I loved it. It was heartbreaking knowing that my family weren't seeing Hugh grow up, because at the beginning of lockdown, Hugh wasn't even crawling. He didn't have any teeth. And then by the end of lockdown, he was full on running around the house and he had nearly a whole set of teeth. So he had grown up and developed so much during lockdown. I got to see and I'm grateful for, but my family didn't. But lockdown came at a good time for me because I sat down and had that time with Hugh, had that bond with Hugh, and it renewed me. It did. I know that lockdown didn't help people and actually made a lot of people worse. So for that I am grateful, and I know that I'm lucky. But we were banking on my mat leave ending for our money because we were really struggling for those last few months of mat leave when it was the basic pay. We really needed me to go back to work and start earning a full wage. So that again didn't help my mental health because I was always so stressed about money. So when I was put on furlough, yes, I was on more money than what I was for mat leave. It wasn't enough to get us by, and especially because we were meant to get married in August, and we were we were counting on my full wage to be able to pay off the wedding. Luckily or not luckily, the wedding got moved, so we didn't have to worry about paying that until next year. So we have got another year to pay for it. But money didn't help, breastfeeding didn't help, people asking me and giving me advice all the time didn't help. It's just all these little things that you don't realise can affect you as much as it did me. So when August came and I was meant to go back to work at the end of August, when furlough was over for that company that I was working for, I realised the job is one of the reasons why I felt so low, and I did not want to go back to that job. I'd worked so hard during my uni career to end up in a job that I hated, that didn't have anything to do with my masters or my undergrad. So I sat down and I thought, teaching has always been one of the things that I kept going back to, and I decided to bite the bullet and just go for it. And that's what I did. I applied for it, and then I got the okay like a week before I was meant to go back to work. So I handed in my notice, and then 2 weeks later I was starting my course in uni, and I felt like everything was wonderful and I started to feel okay again. I was looking forward to the assignments and all the research I had to do, because that's what I love doing. I love research and I love reading, I love writing, I just love being, I sound really nerdy, don't I? I love being in education. So being a teacher is great because I'm always going to be in education. But then I turned 29 and I just, again, I sat back and I kept thinking about where other people are in their lives at my age, and I didn't think that I was far on enough as what I should be. I'm still not in a career that I like. I'm not a homeowner yet. I'm not married. Should be, I know that, but I'm not married. And it just spiraled down again. The reason that I did this video is because Christmas time is a hard time for a lot of people. It's the most joyous time of the year for many people, but for a lot of people it's a tough time of year, and I am one of those people that I'm hating it. I'm hating Christmas this year. I am. I can actually feel myself going back to the way I was before lockdown, and I don't want that to happen again, especially not when I'm in uni, and that should be my focus. It's the answer to all of our questions. So I need to finish uni at a high level so I could get a good job at the end of it. So yeah, I can feel myself going back to the way I was, and I sat down and had a conversation with myself the other day, and I said, I need to snap out of it. It's not quite that simple, but I need to snap out of it. So Christmas this year is different, especially because we can't go out and we can't go to the Santa's Grotto and we can't go to all these wonderful events. Really, really difficult. Hugh doesn't even understand what's going on. He doesn't understand what all these lights are for. But I do, and that's what I'm finding hard, and I'm sure a lot of mums and dads out there are finding it as difficult as well, because you want to enjoy Christmas, you want to enjoy the spirit of Christmas, and the whole of December is normally the most wonderful time. Walking down the high street and seeing all these beautiful lights and going over to the Christmas light switch-ons. None of that's happening this year, and it's so sad, it is, and that's definitely going to affect a lot of people, especially a lot of people with children like myself. So when I had the talk with myself, I realised I need to concentrate on me. We are going to do Christmas as sustainably as possible. We are going to enjoy our time. It doesn't matter if we can't go outside, we are going to enjoy our time. So we've been baking gingerbread men. I've ordered some plant-based paints and glues so we can make our Christmas cards and wrapping paper this year. We are doing it the way we can. And while we don't have much money to buy Hugh presents, we want him to know that it's not about presents, it's not about gifts, it's about spending time with family and our loved ones. I have changed my mindset that I need to focus on me, you need to focus on you, nothing else matters. I gave myself an analogy of When you're on a plane and they're giving you the safety talk and they say you put your oxygen mask on before putting anyone else's on, and that is so true in every way of life. If I'm not okay, I'm not going to be looking after Hugh as well as I could be. So I'm going to focus on me. You need to focus on you. When you have focused on you, it's just going to become so much easier for you. And the same with me. I'm already starting to see the difference since giving myself that talk. I focus on me more and getting myself sorted. I can now enjoy my time more with you because I'm not constantly worrying, am I good enough? Am I good enough? I know that I'm good enough because I'm giving my best, and that is good enough. I might not be a stay-at-home mum doing all these wonderful crafts every single minute of the day, doing all these developmental activities. I'm doing as many as I can, and that is the best that I can do, and that is good enough. We all need to remember that. We all need to remember that. Without me, Hugh would not be here, and that's what I need to remember, and that's what all new mums need to remember, is that without you, your child would not be here. Your child does not care what you look like. Your child thinks you're perfect. Hugh looks at me. He doesn't see that I've put on weight. He sees a mum that loves him more than anything. And we all need to think that we are not bad mums for feeling like this. We are not bad mums. If anything, we are amazing mums. We are here talking about this because we care about our children. And that's what we need to remember. We are not bad mums. We're trying our best. We need to start looking at the positives. My positives for me, I am lucky to have 2 full days with Hugh. Not everybody can do that. So I am very lucky to be in the position to have those 2 full days with Hugh. It's stressful, but it's also wonderful. I have, hopefully COVID depending, I have Florida in March to look forward to. I have 2 honeymoons next year to look forward to. I have a wedding next year to look forward to. And one day I will become a teacher and I will be Mrs. Jones. And what I've got to remember, and I'm sure what you've got to remember if you have little ones, is that Hugh is not going to remember this time. He'll be 18 months at Christmas. He's not going to remember this at all. So all the stress I'm putting myself under, Hugh won't remember. And for anyone who has older children, all the Christmases with my mum, I remember the time spent as a family. I don't remember the presents I got. So we have to remember it's more than just gifts. It's spending time with people. That is what is important this time of year. Like I said, this is a horrible time of year for many of us, me included this year, and never thought that would happen because Christmas has always been my favourite time of year. But if you are feeling low, then the best thing that you can do is seek help. It doesn't matter if it's from the doctor or if it's from a therapist or a counsellor. The person that I go to when I need help is Adam. And I know that I'm extremely lucky. I am extremely lucky to have him in my life because I can open up to him. He's my best friend and he really helps me and he really understands me. So it doesn't have to be a professional person. It can be anyone. It can be your mum, your sister, your best friend, a stranger on the street that you just need to open up to. Just talk to somebody because it does help. Regardless of what I said at the beginning about counselling not working, it does work, or it does work for me. I know it's not the same for everybody, but at least try talking to somebody. You need to talk to somebody. They will be able to offer you so much comfort and so much advice. Might not be advice that works, but at least they've given you comfort. We all need someone to talk to. So that if you take away anything from this video, it's talk to somebody. I will actually leave some phone numbers in the description below if you ever feel like you need to talk to somebody. There's always people there for you. If you want to talk to me, then please personal message me. I'm always happy to sit down and have a conversation with somebody about this because we all need to sit together. Even if you know somebody who's going through this and you don't know what to say, speak to somebody, speak to me. Just speak to somebody. And also, don't be so hard on yourself. If you are going through this, do not be hard on yourself. You're not a bad person. You're not a failure. You are perfect in every way, shape or form. I hope this video is useful to at least one person out there, and reach out to me if you need to be. Just don't be by yourself. Your children love you. You should love yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, and try and enjoy this time of year. So on that note, I think I'm going to leave it there. I truly hope this helps at least one person out there. Please reach out to me or reach out to anybody. Don't be suffering alone. You're not the only one going through this. This is a horrible time of year. 2020 has been a horrible year, but we can get through it. We can and we will get through this. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time.